Brian Foley with Galveston Criminal Defense Attorneys here. We are talking about discovery in Galveston criminal cases today. And discovery is the process where your lawyer can get evidence from the prosecutors in the state of Texas that have been collected in a criminal investigation. 39.14 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, or the Michael Morton Act, is the law that governs the discovery process. And what it basically says is the state has to give us evidence in the case. So that can look like body cameras from the police. A lot of police carry right around their midsection or on one shoulder or another what's called a body camera. It's a almost like a Ring doorbell camera for each police officer, and it records things that they do and what's happening in front of them during an arrest or during an investigation. So in a marijuana case, it may record the search of the vehicle, and you can kind of see what they're doing when they go to search, if they violate any criminal laws there. Or they may have a dash camera, which is equipped on the vehicle itself, which would show, hopefully, evidence that maybe the traffic violation didn't occur the way that the officer said. And so we will look at these things as a criminal defense attorney and find an issue with the way that the investigation was done. And the state cannot withhold those things from us, they have to give it to us. Uh, Laboratory testing results are another form of discovery. So, in a marijuana case, you may have laboratory test results of the THC content of the marijuana. It used to be that the lab would just look at the marijuana under a microscope and say, yeah, this is cannabis sativa L, the scientific name for the plant marijuana. But now, ever since 2019, there has been a law that says industrial hemp is also the plant cannabis sativa L. So the only way to distinguish the two is to get a percentage of greater than 0.03% THC content in the plant. So there's low THC uh, marijuana, and it's the plant cannabis sativa L. We call that industrial hemp. So the prosecutors have to prove it's not industrial hemp. They have to prove that it is, in fact, marijuana with that content. So they're going to have to be a lab test now for a possession of marijuana case. And then the last thing I want to talk about for discovery here, last two things. First is this duty to preserve the evidence and disclose exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory evidence means evidence that's good for the defendant. And really, Texas goes a little bit further than this. This rule is from a Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court of the United States, called Brady versus Maryland. And in that case, the prosecutors withheld evidence that was helpful to the defendant. Our version in Texas is called the Michael Morton Act because there's a guy named Michael Morton who was accused of killing his wife. The state withheld information of a bloody bandana that was found near the crime scene. It actually had the DNA of the real killer on it. And they withheld that information from the lawyers for Michael Morton, and they were not able to present it in his defense. So this rule says they have to preserve that evidence and then also disclose it. So every time a criminal case ends with a plea or with a trial, the state is supposed to give a full list of all the evidence that they gave to the defense. The other thing I want to talk about here is when you're looking at discovery as a criminal defense lawyer, it comes in waves. It comes in the first wave, which will be some basic paperwork. And then it takes a while for the police to actually send their body and dash camera footage and testing results. Those all take time. It can take months, 4, 6 months. We've had cases take a year before we've received evidence of that kind. Specifically, body cameras. There'll be many police officers that respond to an incident, and only one or two will submit their body cameras. And so we may have a situation where we need all of them before we can even consider an offer from the state. Or if the state's trying to put our client in prison or jail for a significant time, we're obviously not going to take anything without looking at all the body cameras and dash cameras. So it can take a while. So if you're somebody watching this, you're wondering, why is discovery taking so long in my case? That's pretty normal. Galveston is a little bit faster than Harris in some cases, but in other cases, it'll go quite slowly. So a lot of it's dependent on the agencies as well, especially in smaller counties. It can be very difficult to get this evidence quickly. But I hope this has been enlightening about the discovery process, the process of obtaining evidence from the prosecution. And if you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and we will see you next time.